goodness, y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Eden Podcast. This is Alicia. And we have had some snafus getting this conversation going, but here we are. And I am super, super excited because I have someone that I've known for a really long time here on the podcast. Crystal and I met when I was getting my master's, I think,
Uh-huh.
at Cambridge College. And when we met, let me go back. We met at Cambridge College. I was there for the summer. She was our resident assistant because we had to stay on campus for that summer to, do some in-class work because the majority of the actual program was online. And as we got to know each other, found out that we grew up Seventh-day Adventist. And wait a minute, is Shawnee your cousin? And Shawnee, her cousin, she and I went to college together at Oakwood. Well, it was then college, now university. So it was just wild. And so ever since then, we were just like, yo, this is crazy. And so we've kept in touch here and there. And so I'm just really excited that Coach Crystal Lenz is here on the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to see your smiling face again. It's always a pleasure.
You are welcome. Listen, like I told you, y'all, listen, it's been about a good 30 minutes of me trying to get this together, but Crystal, as amazing as she is.
I have patience. I have the media background. I know technology can fail us sometimes, and we just got to have a little patience. Okay, that's it.
Literally. Thank God that you have patience because I was really about to be like, forget it.
I know. I was like, just take a breath. We got this. Just take a breath.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much again. And like I said, we met, what was that, like 2014, something around that time.
On that
So
time.
were you in college then? You were in college at Cambridge?
No, I wasn't. So if it was 2014, I was going into my senior year of college because I graduated university in 2015. So
Okay.
I had just come back from living in Spain for the year.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was just back and just trying to, make some money over the summer before, I go back to school. And one thing led to the next, and we reconnected, and here we are.
I love it. I love it. And so, like now, I mean, obviously, since then you've done so many other things,
So much.
right? But when like before we hit record, y'all, we were talking about the fact that she is now a life coach, which I'm loving that because her energy, her aura, everything would make me feel like, okay, of course, this is the actual path he would go down. But when you decided to do that, like what was the thing that prompted you? Like, I need to go into life coaching. What was that thing that I was like, yeah, I need to pursue this?
Yeah, so I think for me, I've been mentoring and coaching people probably since I was like a teenager myself.
Right.
I've been in leadership roles. I was on like a board of directors as a teenager. I was like a teen board member up in Boston, and I feel like this past January, I saw my senior coach, Coach Kelly J. I saw she had a workshop. And it was just about like, how to build your coaching business. I'm like, oh, that seems interesting, right? But when she kind of put it all together, I was like, oh, I have all the skills, I have everything I need. And I kept seeing a lot of posts online that was specifically targeting Black women, right? And it was like,
Yeah.
Black women, you don't need another degree. You have enough education. Hello.
Right.
So it was screaming at me because I was this close to going back to school. That was my main thing. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make more money. You know what I mean? If I don't get a
Right.
master's, if I don't, so I was like, what am I gonna do? And this program presented itself, and I was like, okay, this seems like I can merge all of my skills, my media skills, my finance skills, my education skills, my mentoring skills, like everything can come together. And it allowed me to harness the power of my story and my testimony, and all of the healing work that I did. Because I was in therapy actively for 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm about to be 33. You know what I mean? So that's a long time. That's a long
Right.
time.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like all of that combined, just it just made sense. It just made sense. And I had never thought about being a life coach. I'm like, I didn't really know like what life coaches did. I'm like, I don't know, like I'm good. Like, but
Right.
when I understood the foundations of what life coaching can look like and how
Mm,
I already have the skills, the knowledge, the tools, I was,
right.
oh, sign me up, Coach Kelly. I'm ready.
Love that. And I think I know who you're talking about, Coach Kelly. She wears the glasses and she
Yep,
have like
she got the
locks.
big glasses, she got locks. Yep, Coach
Yes,
Kelly
yes.
Jim. Yep.
That's so crazy. Yes, I've seen her ads and she seems so like so yeah, okay.
She's
That's
amazing. I met her in person, at our conference, this past April, and the lady is just, I mean, a genius, like, in a
right,
sense of, like, she has a blueprint, it works, it's repeatable, right? You just
right,
put the work in and make it your own type of flavor type deal, but
right.
she hands you the blueprint.
And you just run with it.
I'm running. I'm
I
running.
love it. I love it. I want to go back because you said something that hit me, and I was like, "This was me," in terms of you don't need another degree.
Can we say it louder?
Right, right. Because and the reason why I say that, I have a bachelor's in nursing, a master's in education that's concentrated in school nursing. I am a certified pediatric nurse practitioner, for which I had to go back and get a master's for that too. So I have two masters, and I
Uh,
have a doctorate in nursing practice. I'm not saying all that to brag. I'm saying that because it was that sense of, oh my gosh, if I don't get this next thing, will
mhm,
I be enough in this
mhm,
profession? And so for what you have experienced with certain Black women that you've either worked with or just
right.
dealt with on a daily basis. I mean, we're Black women, so
Yeah,
we're the people, right?
we are the people.
Uh, do you find that that is the norm? Or that's kind of like I can say the norm, but that's kind of like the mindset of a lot of us. Because it was for me,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Let me say this, I feel like there's an underlying, like, unspoken feeling amongst a lot of Black women that, yes, we are not enough and we need to continue to level up, level up, level up, right?
Right.
And that we just kind of got to keep growing and growing and growing, which is good, right? It's good to evolve, right? But it doesn't always have to look like formal education, right? It doesn't always have to
Mm,
look like, a college degree. Like I know a lot of successful people who have no college degree and still were able to like work their way through their
right.
careers, right? But I do believe that there is like a lot of women, especially Black women, have that underlying, feeling of like, okay, am I enough? You know what I mean? And just questioning it. Even those who have done a ton of like healing work, like there's still a little voice in there sometimes that's
Yeah.
like makes you just like antennas up. Am I enough? Like, am I doing enough? Is there something more I could be doing? Right. And I think
Right.
a lot of us carry a lot of weight on our shoulders, right? Like ancestrally, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's your family, right? Friend, like there's so many things we carry on our shoulders.
Right.
And giving, and this is part of like why I do what I do, right? Is to give us the permission to put that weight down,
Mm,
right? To let go of the heaviness, to let go of the things that no longer serve us, maybe never really served us, right?
that part. That part.
Um, and things that we inherited, right? Whether it was from
Right.
seeing our parents and grandparents and our elders doing certain things, or if it was just like genetically passed down as well.
Mm,
Um,
right.
just giving that permission to let that weight go because I do feel like a lot of us, and I'm speaking for myself because I am the people. Like for the majority of my life, I did not feel like I was enough. Like I just had to keep hustling. If I hustle hard enough, I'm gonna make enough
Yeah.
money. If I get enough education, I'm gonna be able to do this and that. And realizing that I am enough. My
Right.
story is enough, as is my testimony is enough. I have done so much work on myself that, I can help so many people. Like I can help the masses already, you know.
Right.
I didn't necessarily need to go back to school, which I didn't even know what I wanted to go back to school. I was like, oh, should I go and become a teacher? Like,
Yeah.
and I think this is my other thing too with education, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I'm a lifelong learner. But I feel like sometimes when we work in the traditional education system, right? And we try to like climb that ladder, we end up kind of boxing ourselves in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've been able to just kind of branch out a little bit more and, pick up education from a variety of places, whether it be, and I've had a lot of coaches myself. So let me say
Yeah.
that. And that has been a huge, huge, just motivator and catalyst to push me forward to where I am today.
I love that. And I love the fact that you had mentioned initially, you were saying that you've done a lot of work
Mhm.
on yourself to get to this point.
Yeah.
Um, and I would say for myself, I've done a lot of work myself, but I think for some Black women, that idea of doing the work or like, finding ways, whether it be through therapy, like I did like a whole somatic meditation,
Mhm.
uh, um, like therapy sessions. It was like various sessions that kind of like helped me through a lot of things. And I didn't realize that somatic work was something that would be breaking and just empowering and enriching for my life. But for those women that are kind of like, okay, what does this even mean? Like doing the work,
Right.
right? Working on myself. I got kids, I got a husband, I got life, right?
Mhm.
I'm just trying to navigate these American streets. What does this look like for me? You know what I'm saying?
I think the biggest thing that I want us to like, well, Black women, to really understand is that the lifestyle of exhaustion doesn't have to be.
Yes.
Right? The lifestyle of being the strong one all the time doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
The lifestyle of, dealing with the ups and downs of our mental health all the time. I'm not saying mental health is gonna be perfect, right? But
Right.
dealing with that roller coaster that takes you to the highs and the lows and the lows and the highs, right? That doesn't have to be your norm.
Right.
And I think that is really what I try to demonstrate, not only through like the coaching, but just through my being and my life, right? I try to demonstrate that there's another way of living. And I
Right.
think sometimes it just takes that one person to either show you or to say it, right? Like half the time, like we just need to speak it. We just need to speak it. Things
Right.
stay in our head and they swirl around and they become bigger than what they actually are. And sometimes you need someone to like ground you, bring you back down to earth a little bit and say, hey, it doesn't have to be like this. There's another way, right? And doing the work looks like just choosing something different.
Yeah.
That's it. It could be one small thing. Start
Right.
small, but just choose something different,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's how your healing journey begins. You're just making a constant choice to do something different.
Right.
I don't wanna be depressed anymore. I don't wanna be anxious as soon as I wake up all the time, right? And I'm not saying life isn't going to bring us into lows. I'm not saying, life isn't gonna make us, anxious and things like that, but we shouldn't be perpetually in a state of that all the
Right.
time. That shouldn't be our baseline.
Right.
That's
Right.
really what doing the work looks like. Just make a small decision to do
Right.
something different.
Thank you for pointing that out because and I think for at least for myself, when I started doing, like the work, going to therapy and different things of that nature, instantly when I started getting defeated.
Yep. Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's like
Oh, yeah.
I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm still thinking the same. Yeah, it's
Right.
hello, like
Like, why is this not working?
oh, it's not working. Hello, I got things to do. I'm
Yeah.
trying to live my best life. Like why?
Yes. You know what else too? The other thing too, because I relate to that heavy. I was such a perfectionist. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to heal and things are going to be, just lovely and I'm going to walk around, what I mean, with my bag." And it's not like that at all. Like there's no
Right,
perfect way to go about it. Like it's gonna be messy and you have to work through the mess.
right,
You have to work through it.
right, right.
Yeah.
And that was something that was hard for me to like wrap my head around initially because, like you said, like oh, I've got all these things gonna be working out, everything's gonna be perfect, and then it was like, okay, not only are you in therapy and all these things, but now I'm gonna throw this on you. Now this is gonna happen, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going through this therapy, but it's like, okay, now Alicia, backtrack and think about the things, some of the skills that that therapist is teaching you, right?
Mhm.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make
I
sense?
no, I hear you, and I think the other part too, right, especially as you're going through your journey, is that life is still gonna happen, right? So you might be
Right.
dealing with, like, mommy daddy issues from childhood, and you
That
like,
part.
"Oh, shoot, this other thing happened, I gotta deal with this," and, and it might disrupt, maybe some of that old stuff that we need to process, so I
Right.
think it's, like, about giving yourself grace and
Yeah.
learning how to give yourself grace and not be so hard on ourselves. We are especially as Black women, we can be so hard on ourselves. We can be hard on each other, right? But
Right.
I think giving ourselves grace, giving other people grace to understand that, you know, everyone's going through something, right?
Right.
And sometimes it's not about us. A lot of times, majority of the time, whatever somebody else is going through ain't about us, right? You might have
Right.
got a look or maybe, a certain attitude from someone. They're going through their storm and you
Right.
got to give them grace too.
Right.
You
Right. Right.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And your actual program, I'm going on to that because I was
Yeah.
like, okay, because I feel like everything that we're talking about leads up to what you were sharing with me before. So before we hit record, y'all, Crystal was telling me about her program, and actually, give me the title again.
Yeah, so my 5-week boot camp is called Reset the Crown, right?
Yeah.
We can get into reclaiming the crown. That's a bigger program down the line, but I just
Yeah.
want y'all to reset your crown. 5 weeks, we go through what I call the crown formula, which I can explain if you'd like. And
Yeah.
we go through each letter of crown, right?
Uh,
Um and just kind of work through how to deal with what life has already thrown at us and what life
mm,
will throw at us,
right.
right?
Right.
And so if I can take a second to break it down, right? So how to adjust your crown. Um, there's is a 5-step formula that I use. The C is for clarify, right? So we identify the conditioning that's shaping your life. The R is for release, right? So we let go of the survival patterns, the emotional
Mhm.
weight, the things that aren't ours or that are no longer serving us. Maybe we picked it up from survival mode and we're like, this is how I'm supposed to be, but underneath it, you're a whole different person, right?
Right.
And once you release that, right, now there's a gap, right? Because you've been holding this thing, you've been carrying this thing, right? Imagine you had a weight on your chest and you just let it go after, having it on your chest for a week, right? Your
Right.
chest will feel a little weird because you kind of got used to that weight, right?
Right.
And so now it's time to own, right? And replace that weight with something that is your own voice, your own needs, your own identity. That's the O, own it, right?
Mm,
And then we get to the W, which is welcome, right? Welcoming a new path, right? Rebuilding that self trust that you got this, right? And working from the inside out. A lot of times we look for that outside validation, but you gotta give it to yourself first and you gotta do that inner work. And then
right.
the N is just navigate, right? Which means we're just moving forward. We're living from wholeness, not survival mode. And how can I implement and make this a part of my lifestyle, this
Right.
whole crown formula. So that's my crown formula that I came up with after seeing the process of what I was doing over the 10 years that I was in therapy. Um I didn't have a cute little, oh, I'm doing the crown formula, right? But it was what I was doing, right?
Right.
Was what I was clarifying. I was identifying what the issue was, what's the conditioning, where did I get it from, who planted that seed?
Mm,
You know what I mean? And
right.
it's funny, I was up, child. So I was like 5 o'clock this morning, 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. I did not sleep until like 5 o'clock this
Oh
morning.
no.
Yeah, I went to the water park last night,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know why I was like wound up, but I was thinking, right? And I do a lot of my
Right.
best thinking at night when it's quiet, or like
Right.
the wee hours of the morning. And I came up with this analogy that really works, right? And it's the fact that like your life is a garden, right?
Mm,
Follow me. And when you were first born, right, your parents set out a little garden for you, right? they started planting the seeds for you, right? Because you didn't know how to garden, right?
Right.
Slowly you learn how to garden. You're tending to maybe their crops, right? Maybe you got some of your own crops in there. But as you get older, right, your crops start to grow. Some crops may die. Some crops may be affecting other crops, right? And
Right.
so now we need to prune our garden. We need to go in and get rid of the weeds, get rid of the things that are not really us, right?
Right.
And it's okay because our parents did the best they could with the seeds that they planted, right?
Right.
But it's okay to uproot the seeds and the roots that are not working, that
Right.
maybe, are from survival mode. They may be from generations of oppression, right? Unrooting those seeds, right? And reclaiming your garden.
Mm.
In that garden and plant seeds that make sense to you. Plant a sunflower, right? Plant some vegetables, right? Plant seeds of positivity, right?
Right.
Plant seeds of grace and wholeness. You see
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like life is really like that. And so I love an analogy. That's one thing about me, baby. I'm an analogy type of girl because I feel like it helps to bring a visual into your mind of like what this is, right? Instead of
Right.
feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed, like I have to go through and identify all this conditioning and do this and that. No, no, no. Think about it as a garden,
Mm.
right? Calm it down
Right.
and just be a garden.
I
And
love
let's
that.
think about how we tend to our garden.
That is so beautiful. And I love the fact that you put the analogy and like obviously bringing our like parents or guardians into that actual analogy as well. Because regardless of what they've planted for us,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, thank you for that. Even
Mhm.
though there might have been some weeds and things in
Mhm.
there, it's like now I can expand my garden beyond what you've
Yeah.
already provided. Because
Yeah.
I feel like, at least for me, and just thinking about my family and just different things of that nature, there have been times where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was so messed up how that happened in my life, how
Mhm.
those things played out in my life."
Mhm.
And the adults in my life didn't like provide safety or didn't make me feel safe or whatever, or and it's
Right.
like, okay, but like you said prior, those folks had certain tools
Mhm.
that or they didn't have certain tools rather
Mhm.
that were needed for me.
Mhm.
And I have to recognize that and still acknowledge that those things weren't beneficial to me, but it
Right.
also realize that this whole life doesn't come with like an instruction manual,
It doesn't. And
you know?
if I plant a seed in your soil, it's not gonna grow the same way as it's gonna grow in my soil, right? And so I think that's
Right.
really important to like own that, and to give our parents and our ancestors, our elders a little bit of grace too, because what you said, right? Like they didn't have certain tools that we have, right? They may have been going in their garden with their hands, okay, to put the
Right.
seeds in and to tend to the soil, right? And they might have taught us how to do that. And we're looking at our hands like, oh shoot, now I'm dirty. You know
Right.
Oh, oh, shoot, I got some gloves, okay. I can put
Right.
some gloves on and I can do the same thing, but I can keep myself clean. I can protect myself as I'm doing this, So
Right.
there's just so many different ways to look at it and to just again also give them that grace as well and to reclaim, right? And it's not always bad, right? I'm not always saying like our elders like plant like the worst seeds, right? They might have planted
Right.
some sunflowers and you're like, oh, I love me some sunflowers. I'm gonna keep those there because that works, right?
Right.
It's just that ability to evaluate and reevaluate all the conditioning and all of the things that we have received, all of the different downloads, right? All of
Right.
everything. Just
Right.
reevaluate it. Is it serving you or is it
Right. 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 No, I am loving that. Like the way that yeah, and that's gonna stick with me. Thank you. No, seriously, because it's just
not?
like because I'm very visual.
Yeah.
So it's like seeing that, it's like, oh yes, that
Yeah.
makes so much sense. Thank
I love a good analogy, and if I could give you one more that I really, really love,
uh-huh.
I have a client who, her mom, little toxic, you know what I mean? She
Right.
had gone through a lot, you know what I mean? She was on and off drugs, stuff like that, and,
Right.
she's dealing with, like, an adult relationship with someone who, wasn't necessarily the best caretaker, right?
Mhm.
And so, I was telling her, you gotta remember, right? Like, your mom might have been one of those people who went down to the river with a strainer.
Mm.
Okay, and she been doing this for
Yeah.
years, and she going and she thinking she doing something. I'm getting my water with a strainer, right? And here you
Right.
come with your pail, right, with your little bucket, and you're like, "Hey, I think we can get water better using this bucket." And she like looking at you like you crazy because she been doing this for 20 years, 30 years, 40,
Yes.
50 years,
Yes.
right, with her little strainer. And you see how ridiculous that looks, right? But because she's been in that cycle, she can't see out of that cycle.
Yes.
Sometimes that happens with our parents too, where it's like they might be stuck in a place that they may or may not ever get out of, right? Because they've
Mm.
been doing it for so long, which is like that's okay, that's their ministry, but it's the burden on us to see that and to
Right.
figure out if I need to do something different. So she loves that analogy because whenever her mom pisses her off, I'm like, girl, you know you getting upset over a lady who go down to the river with a strainer. You see what I'm saying? And so even when she's mad and she is, like, furious and this lady is getting
Right.
on last nerve, she just, like, busts out laughing because I can even text her that. I mean, I took a photo. I went into my kitchen and got a strainer and took a selfie, and, like, this is what Coach Crystal looks like, right? I took a selfie with the strainer, and I was like, "You see the strainer? You understand?
Right.
Alright,
Right.
good." That's it. That's all
No,
I
I
said.
love that. No, I love that. And you know, that's one thing or not one- oh yeah. That's one thing I've had to, I had to release at one point when especially when my mom was still alive, was
Mhm.
that she grew up a certain way.
Yeah.
There were certain things in her life that she wasn't able to process and actually be able to sort through and work through. And
Mhm.
so the way she was navigating life was based off everything that came before, right?
Mhm.
And I wasn't there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't know what all that looked like.
Right, and you didn't grow up in the same time period as her. So you
Yes.
don't know what that life looked like at all and, like, what was acceptable, what wasn't acceptable, like,
Right.
who was doing something that maybe looked crazy to her, you know what I mean? And she started
Right.
doing something different, and now
Right.
that looks different looks kinda crazy to you, right? Like, there's so many factors, right? And, like, I
Right.
feel like when you break it down like that and you realize that there are multiple things at play and multiple things can be true at the same time,
Yes.
again, going back to giving people grace, right? Like, I don't
Yes.
hold, hatred or, like, a lot of that hurt in my heart anymore that I had even from my mother who, I don't really have, a close relationship with her, right? But
Right.
I don't have that heaviness on me as I did before where it's like, "You should have done better, you should have done this and
Right.
that," right? Like, I can say, "Yes, I deserved better, but you
Mhm.
did the best you could, and,
That's
like,
right.
that's okay, but Imma
Right.
do better for me now."
Right. Right.
It's simple.
I'm just sitting here like, wow, because there's so many well, seriously, because at one point, well, I'll bring that up in a minute because it's something else you had mentioned, and I was like, "Ah, that is it." Like, seriously. But also, as we're talking about this and just our mothers, particularly us Black women, and not all Black women have Black mothers, but the majority of
Right,
us do,
right.
right? But for those of us who do have Black mothers, I'm thinking about this right now, right? Because we learned a lot of our hustle culture from them as well because we saw them hustling.
Mhm.
And for me, and you can let me know how you feel, even though regardless of whatever your relationship was, your mother is someone that you're looking to.
Yeah,
Even if you're like still like, "Ugh, this woman is ridiculous," or whatever you think about them, right?
yeah.
That's still a part of you because I find myself doing things that are like my mom. I'm like, that is Leona all day,
Mhm.
every day, right? I'm saying all that to say too is like when we find ourselves in those positions of like, trying to judge our parents. And I'm also talking about this as a mom too, because I have an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah,
And we actually, she she gives me that mirror
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And I'm like, ah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Ooh.
all the
I
things I used to judge my mom about, and now
Yeah,
I see it happening.
yeah.
And I'm like, and it goes back to what you said, that grace thing. It's that grace thing, is giving that grace. And then it's like, I don't know if that's something that we should like talk through with mothers, That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does, and I think if your mother, I guess, has, the capability of, like, receiving that,
That's
then
it. Okay, yes,
that
yes,
I think then, yes, these conversations are so important. Like,
yes.
they are crucial, right? Because it doesn't matter how old, like, you are never too old to learn something new, to change your mind. Like, if you
Right,
got breath in your body, then you can do something different,
right,
and sometimes it's not necessarily you can't go back and change the past, but it's sometimes just about saying the things that have been on your heart and your spirit for so long and just explaining what your experience of them was like, right? They
right,
had a different experience, raising you than you did receiving their parenting.
right,
You know?
right.
And so that I think that's really important. I can say even with my dad, he's an old Caribbean man, you know what I mean?
Uh,
And he came to a few therapy sessions with me, which was huge.
mhm.
Huge.
Right,
And so it's never too late, you know what I mean? You can always there's always an opportunity as long as there's breath in your body, there's an opportunity to rekindle things and do something different, Like I said, I don't have the greatest relationship with my mother, but I'm not closed off that this can't, come back
right,
around at some point.
right.
I just know that I have to do better for me right now, and that's it.
I love that. No, I love that. No, I do. You mentioned something prior when you were breaking down the crown
Yeah,
analogy and the O, where you were saying you like owning
own it.
and like owning and also owning things and then also being true to yourself and doing things that work for you.
Mhm.
And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because as you were saying that, I was just thinking about the other day. This sounds so simple, but it's huge for me. I was at the nail shop and I was like, "Oh, what color should I put on my toes?" Blah, blah.
Right.
I'm thinking about all the external stuff, like, "Oh, would this person like it?" I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
How would this be perceived? This, that, and the other. And then I was just like, "Alicia, what do you like?
Mhm.
What did you want?" Right? And I feel like a lot of times, and this, I mean, this goes beyond Black women, but even still, I think it's still valid for this conversation. We're constantly looking, and like you mentioned this earlier too, that external validation,
Mm,
right? I
mhm.
picked the color I wanted. I picked my pink.
Period. And you good.
Right? But it's just it breaks it down to that, like as simple as that.
Yeah.
Me thinking of everybody else on something I'm paying for myself to be on my body. I'm
Hello?
worried about somebody else.
Hello?
You see?
And so imagine, right? Let's take that and run with it, right?
Right.
Now we are choosing partners based off of what other people say we should be doing, right? We're
Right.
choosing where we live, the type
Mhm.
of house we live in, right? Where we live, because
Right.
how's this gonna look? How's this gonna be perceived?
Mm.
And, like, where it spills over, it's not just the nail polish, right? It spills over into a lot of different areas of our
Yes.
lives if we're not careful,
Mm.
And so
Right.
you being able to say, "Oh, let me reevaluate this because 'cause I'm doing this over a toenail polish color. Hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up." Like, and so imagine the person who doesn't realize that with the toenail polish, right?
Right.
Now they're doing it in their personal life, and now they're doing it in their professional life, and I say this because a lot of the jobs I took when I was in my 20s, was definitely like, okay, is this gonna look good? Like,
Yep.
how does this title sound, right? Is my dad gonna be proud of this, right? Is this something he can brag about, right? And so I was looking again for that external validation,
Right.
and it can't come externally. It can't
Right.
only be externally, right? Like, you're going to crumble if you always look for that external validation because it's not consistent.
Right.
The only thing that's consistent in your life is you. That
Oh,
is it. That is it. And so you have to figure out what your voice is. You have to figure out what your needs are, right? You have to figure out what your own identity is. Cuz if not, somebody else is going to be the architect of your garden. Someone else is going to be in the driver's seat of your life forever.
right.
Forever.
Oh my gosh. Like I'm so serious right now because like that has been kind of my story for I mean, hello, for a long time, right?
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
know a lot of people that even like that probably will listen to this and be like, "Oh my gosh, yes." To some
Mhm.
degree, I have been living by way of external validation,
Mhm.
whatever. And when that happens, when you make that change, and I experienced, and this was hard for me, thumbs up, I guess, but
Hey.
when I made that decision, not just the nail polish thing, but just other decisions I made for Alicia, then the disappointment set in from other people.
Child.
And for that 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 hurt me in ways that I can't even, like, it just ripped me apart. But
Yeah.
it ripped me apart in a way that it started revealing who I really was. That
Yes.
makes sense?
It makes perfect sense, and 2 things come to mind when you say that. 1, um, your evolution is going to offend those who benefited from you living in a low vibration place.
Mm,
Um, it's going to, to chase away those who, benefited from, oh, whenever we get together, we just, talk about the negative things, you know what I mean? Like as you start to grow and evolve. And then the second thing too, and I told my client this, and I've been telling her this, like the same one with the mother with the strainer. I've been telling her this too, is that your light is going to offend darkness.
mm,
Your light is going to offend darkness. And I told her, even on your dimmest day, when you felt that you were in the trenches, that light is still affecting the darkness. The
yeah,
darkness is offended by a match stick of
right.
light.
Wow.
So imagine you being a ball of light. Never mind just a little matchstick.
Right.
That's going to offend the darkness.
Yeah,
And so you have to learn that and understand that you're going to have to be okay with that, because
yeah.
what you're losing, you're going to gain tenfold in those who need to be in your life, who belong in your life, who are going to hold space for you and all the different parts of you that come together to make you you.
Yes.
Yeah, you need that community. We need community.
Yes.
Yeah, and the right community.
That. Because here's the thing, and I'm glad you said that too, because I know folks who are still hanging out. And listen, this is no shade, but the reason I'm bringing this up, because the people that I know that are in these circles, that they've been hanging out with folks since the beginning of time,
Mhm.
will then complain to me about these people and how they're stagnant in nature and they're not doing da 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 da. And I'm just like, okay, but then that's where you have to shift. But that's where also the fear lies, because it's like, how do I get out of this group? I've always been around these people. I'm
Mhm.
comfortable here, blah blah, right?
I know how to navigate this.
That part, right? So it's just like understanding, like if I'm complaining more about you than I'm praising you, that's where I need to reevaluate my situation. You
Right.
know?
Right. And if you have to constantly, like, I know people who are like, "Oh, I can't bring this person around this person," or "When I bring this person around, they're always like this," or they, you know what I mean? Like, there's a
Yeah,
lot of that, and that mental gymnastics, right, is exhausting.
it's too much.
Even if you're used to it, you're just used to the exhaustion of that mental gymnastics.
Yeah,
And again, it is really on us, and this is what we're getting into when I say breaking cycles, right? Is choosing that thing to do differently, right? To
right.
choose to hang with a different crowd, right? To love somebody from a distance, right?
Yes,
Because you
yes,
can do that, you know what I mean?
yes,
But to put up some boundaries with somebody who has always had full access to you.
yes,
That's
yes.
okay. That's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're not going to be loved by everyone in every minute.
Right,
And you gotta be okay with that. A lot of us are afraid of not being liked, of not, being part of the group, right? Because
right,
we want that sense of belonging, even if it's not necessarily where we belong, right? But we've been a
right.
circle, peg trying to go into the square hole for
Where? Yeah.
real. I guess it feels okay. I've been in here so long, you know, and and like it's okay to say, actually, I'm a circle peg and I need to go find me a circle hole with my circle friends, and
Right.
my square friends, I love y'all, but from over there, but I'm not gonna put myself into the square hole because I'm a circle.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Seriously. No, because I think that needs to be talked about because I feel like a lot of times what happens is we just get stuck and it's like,
Mm.
okay, well, this is it. These are my friends or this is my family. And it's not like you don't love, like you said, I don't love you any less, but I have to evolve beyond this.
Yeah.
No love lost, but who I am and where I'm going, I'm a circle. You're a
Yeah.
square. Right?
Be honest, when you accept the assignment of understanding that because I am that person in my family who is breaking the generational curses in a lot of ways.
Right.
I think my dad definitely like opened up, the ceiling a lot because, he
Right.
really worked his way up. I mean, he didn't have a high school degree or anything like that, high school diploma.
Right.
He tested he did well. He tested and could have went to any school in Barbados, any high school.
Right.
He was like, it's kind of a waste of my time. Let me go to trade school instead, right?
Right.
But he worked his way up and was able to open a lot of doors for me, and so now,
Right.
because some of those doors are open, right, I can
Right.
run through them, right, and say, "Ooh, I'm in this room, and, like, I know you opened this door, but we gotta rearrange some furniture in here, like,
Right.
pictures on the wall looking kinda crazy, like, and we gotta do something different. We gotta let some light in here because 'cause y'all had the shades closed for 40 years.
Right.
We
Right.
gotta do something different," and, it's that is how you start to break those generational curses and to really unapologetically live in that, right? And it's
Right.
and going back to the crown formula, right? Life is going to life, right? Things
Mhm.
are going to come our way. Things are going to
Right.
come up. We're going to be triggered by things that we thought we resolved, right?
That
Because
part.
we have new experiences, new people
Yes.
in our life, right? But if
Yeah.
you are able to adjust your crown, right? And go back to the clarify, to the releasing, to the owning, to the welcoming something new, and then figuring out
Right.
how to navigate forward, it really is a quick reset. That's why I say it's resetting your crown, right? Because
Right.
it's a quick reset to say, "Oh, something's throwing me off. I need to get back on track."
Right.
Right?
Right.
I'm not here necessarily to always like I can't help you through all of like the mommy and daddy issues from forever and forever, right? Like some
Right.
things you got to go to therapy for, right?
Right. Understood.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm here to take you from where you are now, and I'm here to help you move forward. I'm here for you to see what it is, see where you're at, and get you forward.
I love that. Thank you so much. But before you go, we
Yeah.
talked we talked earlier about not just your program, but you have an upcoming event.
Yes.
So we cannot end this without you talking about this. Now people are probably like, okay, hello, Crystal. What's happening with your
Yes.
room, right?
Yes. Okay, so let me explain to y'all what we got going on. So your new favorite coach, Coach Crystal Lenz. I am having a Where Did My Crown Go workshop, right?
Okay.
And the question is, where did my crown go? Because it's like, where did my happiness go? Where did my creativity go?
Mm,
Where did my sense of peace go? Right. And
right.
so we kind of walk through that. I give you a lot of my story and kind of weave my story through, and
Yeah.
it's about normalizing the fact that a lot of us are doing a lot of these high performing things, high functioning things, right?
Right.
We're also really exhausted and we want to do something different and we're not quite sure how. So,
Right.
my workshop definitely it's 60 to 90 minutes depending on how many questions we have and things like that. But, I kind of walk through that. I go through the crown formula as well. I give you three solid secrets to resetting your crown and, kind of how to do that, the mentality you need. And then at the end, you have the opportunity if you want to join the 5-week boot camp, you absolutely can. And if it's something that you're like, "Oh, I'm like uncertain," you can book a discovery call with me. Come on, we can
Right.
chat and, see how we can get your crown reset on that head, because it's really, really crucial. I think now more than ever, the world
Mhm.
is heavy.
Yes.
And there's a lot going on. And if you're not careful, you will get sucked into, the darkness, the negativity, the cycles of just
Right.
going around and around and around, right? So I hope that you guys can definitely come out. It's going to be on June 18th. It's going to be 8 p.m. on Zoom. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you got some internet and some Wi-Fi, then you can definitely join. Folks can definitely follow me across the entire internet. I am at Crystal Lens. Okay, don't forget my the. Okay, I am the Crystal Lens, the one and only. And the link is going to be in my bio. If you go to my Instagram at the Crystal Lens, you can go on my link tree and you can sign up and register for the free workshop and come reset your crown. Come figure out where that crown went, and let's figure out how we can move forward so we can reset it.
I love that. Oh my gosh, Crystal, you are the best.
You're the best.
Stop it. Now this was awesome. And this conversation was definitely needed. So thank you so, so much.
Absolutely. We got to do this again. I think I'm gonna have
Yes,
to have you on my
please.
show too. You're gonna have to come
Oh
on the
yes, I would
podcast.
love to. I would love to. Yes, please, please invite me, please. I would love it.
Yes.
Oh my God, I will share all of Coach Crystal Lenz's information in the show notes. Y'all, this was an awesome conversation, and I'm glad that y'all were able to tune in this week to the Me podcast. I will see y'all next week. Yo, this was awesome. Thank you.